Every year, thousands of people drive east along Highway 26 to visit Mount Hood. Whether they go to ski and snowboard or to hike and camp in Mount Hood National Forest, the vast majority of them will leave without realizing that a short 15-minute detour would have shown them an integral piece of Oregon history. The Bull Run Powerhouse. In 1908, the Mount Hood Railway and Power Company and the Portland Railway Light and Power Company, the predecessors of Portland General Electric, began the Bull Run Hydroelectric Project. The ability to generate electricity at the powerhouse began at Marmot Dam, which diverted water from the Big Sandy River through a series of tunnels and canals to the Little Sandy River. From there, the water from Little Sandy and Marmot Dams would be sent on a flume system to Roslyn Lake, where it would flow down through the penstocks. The water would then spin the turbines. The energy produced by the turbines would be sent to the transformers, which would convert it into electrical power. The now usable electricity was then sent to the Portland power grid.
At the height of production, the powerhouse generated enough electricity to power 12,000 homes. The powerhouse was always very efficient, but it was a drop in the bucket compared to what more contemporary powerhouses produce today. Had the powerhouse been built a few years later, they would have had a wide variety of materials to choose from, like stainless steel and rebar and modern welding techniques. And so the powerhouse was really built using the pinnacle of construction methods and up until that time. They were really learning how to build powerhouses at the time, and so hydroelectric plants are built with a fuse hall. And our fuse hall is only built with 6 feet apart, with between one fuse and the one facing it. However, now fuse halls are built in modern powerhouses 20 feet apart, because electricity can arc, depending on the voltage, electricity can arc 6 to 20 feet. And so it's just one example of how they were learning how to build powerhouses at the time.
The project was originally intended to bring hydroelectric power to the city of Portland. However, the opening of an electric trolley system in 1912 would give the added bonus of connecting the unincorporated town of Bull Run to major cities.
The electric trolley brought an era of convenience to the town of Bull Run that didn't exist before. So before the electric trolley was in service, it was a 3-hour carriage route up to the nearest town of Boring, Oregon. And instead, you could just hop on the trolley and get to where you wanted to go. The trolley supported not only the residents to be able to, have materials and food to be brought to the town, but it also allowed travelers to be able to come out and have picnics and excursions in nature. And it also allowed for workers who serviced the powerhouse. They didn't necessarily have to live in the town of Bull Run. They could live elsewhere and then come in on the trolley.
To encourage ordinary citizens to ride the trolley, the company helped establish amusement parks as incentives. Some of these getaways included Roslyn Lake and Dodge Park, then named Bull Run Park. Thanks to the trolleys, the community had access to family-friendly recreation. However, the trolley's heyday only lasted for a short while. Due to frequent landslides and the growing usage of automobiles, the trolley line was shut down, and travelers could no longer go further east than Gresham. So it was in December of 1930 that the trolley made its final route. Although the trolley line was decommissioned, the Bull Run Powerhouse was still going strong. Despite supplying electricity to the city of Portland, the minimal staffing needs of the powerhouse caused the town of Bull Run to drift into obscurity.
The town of the Bull Run ended up disappearing over a number of years because logging had dried up in the area. And some of that was due to the fact that it was very difficult to float logs down the Bull Run River, with the canyon being so narrow and the way that the river just rushes and rages. There's not much left of the town of Bull Run today. There is an empty lot where the downtown proper used to be. We like to think of hydropower as something that is very clean. However, there was an impact. And so the powerhouse impacted the local environment in pretty disastrous ways. It interrupted the fish runs for the local Chinook salmon and steelhead trout populations. And by interrupting that fish line for them to be able to go from the ocean all the way up to their spawning grounds, it decimated the whole population, which in turn had an effect on the local ecosystem. By decimating one element of the food chain, it had cascading effects down the line.
After nearly 100 years of power production, the Bull Run Powerhouse was decommissioned in 2007 over environmental concerns, and the dams were destroyed as a part of the shutdown process.
One of the reasons that the powerhouse was decommissioned was to reestablish the fish runs. And one thing that we do today is host an acclimation pond for the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, where Chinook salmon are brought in at about 2 years of age, and they are acclimated to the Bull Run River. And we have about 250,000 fish currently on site that will be sent into the Bull Run for them to continue their journey all the way out to sea. So it's part of our efforts to help remediate some of the damage that the powerhouse had done over time. It's important for people to come and learn about the Bull Run because it really is a window back in time. It's a window to an era of self-sufficiency. It is a time capsule for transitioning technologies between steam power and electric power. And also, it helps show that as much as hydropower might be considered a more green and safe form of producing electricity, that it still can have an impact on the local environment. And all of those things together are just really important for people to be aware of.
The powerhouse may have been cause for environmental concern, and its decommission was a wise choice. Yet it still helped to further Portland's journey into the modern age. Though it was only a small part of that process, its impact will be felt forever. So the next time you're driving out to Mount Hood, take a short 15-minute detour and go visit an integral piece of Oregon history.